Supervisors, if you could please re-sign in on your screen in front of you, we can get started momentarily. Supervisor Bondi, if you could please sign in. Just one more time.
Yeah, you have to
Thank you.
twice.
Now we are all present. Okay, I will call this meeting of the Manitowoc County Board to order. Roll call already went around, or is going around again?
Yep, it's going on.
First action item will be to approve the agenda. Be looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Supervisor Engelbrecht, second by Supervisor Sikowitz. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? And the agenda is approved. Excuse me. We do have reports listed on the agenda. These are non-action items. They're just there for information. And next we have our proclamation. So we'll be proclaiming May as Foster Care Month. So I see we've got the gang here to accept the proclamation. You join me up at the podium, please. Proclamation declaring May 2024 as Foster Care Month. Whereas, the family serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support is the very foundation of our communities and our state. And whereas, in Manitowoc County, there are 133 children and youth in out-of-home care being provided with a safe, secure, and stable home along with the compassion and nurture of a foster family. And whereas, there are 46 licensed foster and 15 licensed relative families who have opened their homes and hearts and offered to help children whose families are in crisis, play a vital role helping children and families heal and reconnect and launching children into successful adulthood. And whereas, dedicated foster families frequently adopt foster children, resulting in a greater need for foster families. And whereas, there are numerous individuals, public and private organizations, who work to increase public awareness of the needs of children in and leaving foster care, as well as the enduring and valuable contribution of foster parents and relative providers. And the foster care system is only as good as those who choose to be a part of it. Now, therefore, we, Bob Ziegelbauer, Manitowoc County Executive, and Tyler Martell, Manitowoc County Board Chair, along with the Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Foster Care Month in Manitowoc County, and urge all citizens to change a lifetime by sharing their hearts, opening their homes, and offering to help children in foster care, foster parents, relative providers, and the child welfare professional staff working with them this month and throughout the year.
Thank you, Tyler, and thank you, Bob. My name is Karen Zahn, and I am the foster care coordinator for Manitowoc County. I have been with the foster care program now for 19 years. Some of my roles include recruiting, licensing, training, and providing support to foster parents and those in the licensing process. I brought with me tonight other members of our team, including Emily Cortens, our kinship care coordinator, Ashley Taylor, our family find specialist, Melissa McCulley, our foster care administrative support, and our supervisor, Christy Torreson, along with Sue Ader, our deputy director of Children and Families Division. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to share just a small part of foster care with you. May is National Foster Care Month. Not only is it a time when we step up our recruitment, which, speaking of which, we did bring along our foster care signs, which we bring every year, that we ask that if you are willing to grab one to put in your yard or at your place of business, that you display them during the month of May and then bring them back either to our agency or give us a call at the number on the lawn sign and we can pick them up. It is one of our biggest forms of recruitment. People see the bright yellow sign and they know to give us a call. The last few weeks has been crazy, as Melissa can attest to. We've gotten a lot of inquiries for foster care, so that's a great sign. But May is not only about recruitment, it's also about appreciating the foster parents that we have currently. As Tyler mentioned, we currently have 46 licensed foster homes and 15 licensed relative homes. Those relative homes are family members that have taken in their relatives. Manitowoc County supports greatly the placement of children into family homes. We currently have around 133 children in out-of-home care. That number, I say around because that number changes daily, weekly. We can be called at any moment for a placement of additional children. The characteristics of our foster homes vary. They could be single-parent homes to multi-parent homes, providers with children or without children, families with pets or no pets. There really is no typical foster family. They all go through the process, which is considers a lot of different things. And anybody who wants to learn about that process certainly can give any one of us a call and we'd be happy to explain that. What we do know is that people tell me that they want to make a difference and they want to help, and that's their main goal of why they go into foster care. From the very beginning of the foster care licensing process, we discuss many things with our applicants. And one of the most important things that we stress from that very first licensing visit is co-parenting and working with families to support their children. Now, usually, every year, previously, we have brought a foster family with us to tell us why they got into foster care. This year, it was no different, and we did reach out to a foster family who has many times come up as the goal, who we want our foster parents to, what we want our foster parents to look like, and the Parkers exemplify that. Unfortunately, they couldn't be with us tonight because one of their foster children is celebrating her birthday, and they felt it very important to be with her, but not only her, but to be with her family to celebrate this special day. So Jim was kind enough to prepare a message for me that I could share with you all tonight, so I'd like to read that. Hi, my name is Jimmy, and my wife's name is Dolores. I want to tell you a little bit about us and why we do foster care and what our goals would be. Let's first start off with why, which will surely make me tear up while telling you our story. My 27-year-old daughter's boyfriend, her child's father, was killed in an accident. My daughter then went into a stage of depression and started hanging out with the wrong people and started using drugs. I believe as a way to numb herself from the depression that she had every day. As a parent, you try to help, but being 27 years old, my advice was not what she wanted to hear. So it began. That feeling numb was how she coped with things, and in the process, her son, my grandson, was left to fend for himself. Human Services stepped in, and I was the only family member willing to take my grandson. This was a huge wake-up call to my daughter. And even though she knew her son was with his grandfather, he was not with her. So she stopped using any type of drugs with the intention of fixing her life and getting her son back 24/7. This is where I tear up. 1 week after this happened, she called me saying that she wasn't feeling right, so I took her to the hospital. She ended up being diagnosed with sepsis, which is basically an infection in your blood, and in this case, in her heart. She passed away 7 days later, leaving my grandson without a mother or a father, and me without a daughter. On her last day alive, all she asked was for me to take care of her son. Okay, that part is over, so I'm going to take a moment to wipe my eyes and go on. So why do I do foster care, you might ask, after all of this? Well, think about if this was your daughter and grandson that this was happening to. What if there was no one that was willing to take him? So we do foster care not only to help the kids, but also to help the families. Hopeful that they will get their lives straight and all end up back together before it comes too late and something happens like what happened to my daughter. I do my best to work with and help the parents because, again, what if it was your child that got hooked on drugs or something else? You would do everything in your power to help. I believe the parents of these kids deserve the chance to make things right. And the children do so much better in my care knowing that I talk to their parents and do my best to help them with visitations, transportation, and maybe just be someone that they can talk to when they don't know where to turn or just discuss how much they are missing their kids. And I let them know that their kids are missing them too. Most of the kids aren't sure what's going on or why, so it's hard on them as well. Sometimes we need the parents' support dealing with the kids, so it's a win-win for everyone. You're not just helping the kids and their parents, but also the community. Hopefully we can make a difference in these children's lives as well as their parents' lives. I tell myself, if my help helps bring a family back together better than ever, my daughter would be proud. Thank you.
You know, I've read that proclamation a number of times now, and I don't know, this year it's just hitting different for me. I mean, a couple months ago, some of you know that we became foster parents, and I can't encourage it enough. It will change your life if it's something that you would do. One thing I'm just very proud of this county board, the dedication we've shown to adding to human services, the positions we've added, the family find position we put in the budget last year. And the thing I'm most proud of this county board is our commitment to children and families in this county. So I just want to share that with you. Okay, that will take us into public comment. Members of the public, you'll be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak if you are interested in speaking on any business pertaining to the county. Is there anyone looking to speak? Anybody looking to speak? And for a third and final time, is there anybody from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will close public comment. That will take us into our first item of business, consent agenda. Consent agenda, this is new in the rules that we just approved. So Jessica did send out an email explaining how the consent agenda would work. Were there any questions about how the consent agenda works? Perfect, it looks like it was clear. Okay.
Just for this first. Yep. Sure.
Yep. Okay. So, just to reiterate, so when we pass the consent agenda, we are taking items under the number 7, under consent agenda, A all the way through D5 on the 3rd page. When we pass the consent agenda, we will be approving all of the items under that item. Supervisors will always have the opportunity to remove anything from the consent agenda if they would like to discuss it further, or if they would like to take a separate vote on that. And so that's what I'm going to do at this time, ask if any supervisors would like to remove an item from the consent agenda. Is there anybody that wants to remove anything? I'm just giving you all a moment to look over. Okay, I'm seeing none. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. So motion by Supervisor Benke, second by Supervisor Mink. Is there discussion on that? No discussion. All right, all those in favor? Oh, do you need to conduct the vote? Yep. Clerk will conduct the vote on this one.
Supervisors will now vote on the consent agenda.
And the consent agenda is approved. Okay, that will take us to our committee reports. Aging and Disability Board. Supervisor Jadowski, do you have a report?
No, I don't have a report, but I'd like to say that our next meeting is going to be on May 28th at 10 a.m. right here in the basement, in the conference room. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Jadowski. Board of Health, Supervisor Metzger.
Hello, we met April 11th. The health officer report, we discussed and reviewed the 2023 annual report. The report provides a highlight of activities that were conducted over the year. And future comments are welcome. If anybody has any comments, you can check online for the website for the book if you'd like to look at it. For the nurse manager report, influenza and COVID-19 and RSV, they're at low levels right now. And the communicable disease, chlamydia was the highest with 7. COVID was 4, and that was also hospitalized. And influenza B was 4, and that was also hospitalized. Health promotion, they're planning a mental health awareness project, and they're continuing the weekly clinics. And we're going to have presentation on the measles with Holy Family / Fredert. And also they're going to have an infection prevention meeting. And week report, we had March 959 participants, and the target is 936. Our next meeting would be May 9th at 5 p.m. at the health department. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's more than an announcement. The next meeting is scheduled for May 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Executive Committee, nothing to report other than that the rules that you just approved you approved in the last meeting. The Executive Committee met, discussed those. A lot of you came to those, and I appreciate everybody's input. No meetings right now on the agenda for the Executive Committee. Next is the Expo Ice Center Board, Supervisor Sikowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Manitowoc County Expo Ice Center Board met on Wednesday, April 3rd, and took the following actions. The board approved retired ID cards for free county fair admission for board members who have served a total of 15 years or more of service, including all past eligible board members. The board also approved all animal exhibitor manure fees to be increased $2 per animal. The board approved the purchase of 4 display boards for the use throughout the grounds during the county fair and for other events. The board also approved the Ag Adventureland and advertising budgets for the 2024 county fair. The board approved the new attraction for the 2020 fair, a karaoke vendor. The board approved the purchase of little showmanship ribbons for all the shows for the little tykes who are not in junior fair. And the next Expo Ice Center board meeting will be held on May 1st. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Sikowitz. Next, we have the Finance Committee, Supervisor Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I ask a question about the consent agenda? Maybe to clarify it for us.
Unfortunately, we passed that item on the consent agenda, so I'm being advised by Corp Counsel. we
Oh,
can't
I was
use
just wondering how it worked, not any agenda. But I'm looking consent agenda, a lot of the stuff that came in, the ordinances were passed through the consent agenda. And then I look at under committee reports and there's still items that we vote on. I'm just wondering the difference there. It may not be appropriate at this time to ask, but
I'm going to cover this very briefly because, it's not on the agenda. The reason that there are still items that are included in committee reports is those items have either been requested to come off the consent agenda, not the case in this particular instance, but because they require a supermajority vote. They require more than a majority vote.
thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a committee report for finance?
No.
Okay.
Just we meet the second Monday of the month, 4:30 at the downtown administration office.
All right. Thank you, Supervisor Hanson. Highway Committee, Supervisor Benke, do you have a report?
Mr. Chair, we met April 9th. We talked about gravel bids. We talked about dead deer disposal update. The fact that we often took for granted that we have an individual that collected deer on the highways, carcasses, no longer is able to do that. So how we dispose of them could be an issue coming forward. And we're waiting, hopefully maybe somebody will take that upon themselves. Otherwise, they all end up in the landfill, but having somebody collect them is a problem. We talked about salt usage. Our salt, we've talked about in the past that our salt is generally cheaper than a lot of other counties throughout the state. And still, it wasn't too long ago, we were looking at $52 a ton. Now, a lot of counties are over $100 a ton. So salt hasn't gotten any cheaper. And we talked about the jurisdictional transfers that we passed in the consent agenda, and just a short explanation on those. Those are the highways that we now are going to give over to the city after we fix them, Menasha Avenue and CR, or R, I should say. There are little bits of town land along those, and so now the gist of that is that the road aid will come to the township. The township will give that road aid for that little bits and pieces to the city of Manitowoc to maintain that road. So that's kind of how that whole thing works with all of those jurisdictional transfers. I just thought for new supervisors, you might get a little bit of information with that. Our next meeting is May 14th. And I will bring forward resolution number 1, accepting a $14,000 donation for Manitowoc County Airport forklift. Tom Bear was very gracious in donating that for our airport.
There is a motion, and I see a second by Supervisor Engelbrecht. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution accepting $14,000 donation from Manitowoc County Airport forklift.
And the resolution is approved.
Report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next, we have Human Services Board. I'm seeing that Supervisor Bryan or Supervisor Shimalunas are here. Is there anybody who has a report for Human Services? Okay. Seeing none, we will go to Land Conservation Committee, UW Extension, Education, and Agriculture Committee. Supervisor Phipps, do you have a report for me?
Thank you, County Board Chairman Martell. Our next meeting is going to be on April 18th at 4:45 at the Manitowoc County Complex, room 300. And then I also have a resolution I'd like to bring forward, 2024-2025-19, authorizing the North Central Region Stability Research and Education Grant.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Mink, any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing North Central Region Sustainable Research and Education Grant.
And the resolution is approved. Anything further, Supervisor Phipps?
Thank you, Chairman Martell.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, Supervisor Marish.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee, Supervisor Rink. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, May 7th at 4:30, and I will be bringing two resolutions, joint resolutions later in the meeting. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you. Planning and Park Commission, Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Park and Planning Commission met on April 1st. On the docket that day, we had 5 rezone requests, now included in the consent agenda tonight. Also, 2 variance requests, plus consideration for a resolution authorizing the Manure Expo mini grant, which will be presented to you later. After confirming open meeting law compliance, we opened the floor for public comment. We had hearings on rezones for the Grassel family, Trinity Lutheran Church, Janice Warehausen, Irrevocable Trust, Stephen and Virginia Shore, and Gerald Duckow. All were examined under rezone criteria, and we heard testimony, examined documents of support for each request, later discussing and acting to approve them unanimously. Next, we approved the variance request for the Grassel family and Stephen Virginia Shore, passing unanimously. Next on our docket was a discussion and possible action to permit the Caveman Adventure Run at the Cherney Maribel Caves County Park. We heard staff review and testimony from Miss Maya Lee from Lakeshore Community Healthcare. The commission approved the request. Continuing with discussion, the Park and Planning Commission by bylaws, Mr. Ryan gave an overview of the commission's an overview to the commission, and they approved by a motion. Lastly, we had a discussion regarding third-party marketing at the park properties. Wisconsin's Biological Society and the commissioners and staff discussed marketing aspects of the Cherney Maribel Caves and miscellaneous activities. That concluded our hearings, and our next meeting date is tentatively scheduled for Monday, April 29th. The advisory meeting starts at 3:30. The hearing starts at 4. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Falkowski. Next, we have the Public Safety Committee, also Supervisor Falkowski.
But that's quick. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Safety Committee met on March 13th. On our agenda that day was the reporting from the Clerk of Court, April Higgins. Ms. Higgins reported overall operating within the budget, with the exceptions of overtime and indigent counsel fees. Due to some retirements and unexpected departures, there has been new staff which required additional time and training to get them up to fully proficiency. We were given examples on how the staff remained dedicated to getting the job done. Challenges with case workload due to staffing requires working late, coming in early, and ensure that things are processed timely. Failure to get these things processed timely can have a cascade effect, i.e., defendants not getting their programming started while incarcerated. If the prisons are not receiving their judgments of conviction in a timely manner, it is a fiscal effect. As indigent counsel diplomatically working with the judges to get defendants to order in order to pay for something, as they may be indigent now, but not forever probably. There is examples where monies are coming in from the state debt collections and the tax intercept payments from defendants later changing their indigent status. We thank Ms. Higgins for her report and urge her to convey from the committee's appreciation for the staff at the office. Members are encouraged to stop in at the Clerk of Court's office to meet with the staff and to see them in action. Our next meeting, in lieu of the regular May meeting, the committee and any county board members, along with the public, are encouraged to attend the law enforcement officers' memorial service in the courtyard between the Sheriff's Department and the courthouse. It will be on May 15th and it will start at 2:45 p.m. Our next formal meeting will be on June 12th, starting at 5 p.m. at the C&T building, later to recess for the annual jail inspection. The county board members are welcome to accompany us during this inspection, but please contact me in advance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. Public Works Committee, Supervisor Sikowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Works Committee met on Wednesday, April 10th. In the Solid Waste and Recycling Division, the committee received a quarterly update from the Recycling Center Manager on solid waste quantities reported at Ridgeview Landfill from municipalities covered under the county's Master Solid Waste Contract, along with a report of recyclables processed at the recycling center and the current market rates for them. The committee also reviewed the annual self-certification for the recycling center, noting approximately 3,000 tons of recyclables were processed in 2023, with a residual rate of under 3%. In the Buildings and Grounds Division, the committee reviewed the list of 2024 capital projects and approved the pay request from Schaus Mechanical for the replacement of a makeup air unit at the Law Enforcement Center. Bids for asphalt maintenance at the UWGB Manitowoc campus were reviewed, and the committee awarded the project to Pop Enterprises at a cost of $35,730. The committee was updated on the status of the courthouse dome leaks and temporary repairs being planned for later this spring. The courthouse window replacement and HVAC system upgrade project is progressing through the design development and construction documents phase, with bidding documents scheduled to be available to contractors in May. In the Communications Division, it was reported the next generation 911 system upgrade was successfully completed, and 2024 capital projects were being worked on, noting that the county constantly upgrades equipment in the public safety radio system to keep everything up to date. In the Information Technology Division, the committee reviewed the 2024 projects that the IT Division is working on and the monthly cybersecurity report. The committee received a request from the Two Rivers Fire Department to donate a plotter that the county no longer uses and is deemed as surplus property, and the committee approved the donation. In the Expo Ice Center Division, the committee reviewed the April events calendar and capital projects planned for grounds this summer. The committee approved the change to the building security deposit policy to make potential renters more responsible when reserving dates for their events. Per county code, the committee approved the 2024 county fair entertainment contracts that the Expo Ice Center approved and recommended. And before the Public Works Committee adjourned, we thank Supervisor Rick Giroux for his service and chairman of the committee and all his years of service on the county board. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Supervisor Sikowitz. Next, we have a joint committee, Transportation Coordinating Committee. Supervisor Hacker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next meeting of the Transportation Coordinating Committee will be April 24th. That's next Wednesday at 1 o'clock in this building. And it's kind of an important meeting. I'd invite anyone interested from this board to attend. We'll be planning, it's a plan review of our 2025-2029 Manitowoc County Transportation Coordinated Plan. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. We have a joint committee report from Land Conservation, Planning and Park, who will be introducing the resolution. Ryan or Falkowski. Okay, Supervisor Falkowski.
Do you want to report about it, or do I make I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2024-2025-20, approving the authorizing the Manure Expo mini grant.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion and a second by Supervisor Phipps. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing Manure Expo mini grant countywide live hazards map.
And the resolution is approved. We have another joint committee report, Human Services and Personnel. Supervisor Marsh.
Thank you. I bring forward resolution to 2024-2025-21, basically a staff accountant to financial analyst. I so move.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Niles. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing reallocation of Human Services Department 1 full-time equivalent position, staff accountant, to financial analyst.
And the resolution is approved.
Would bring forward Resolution 2024-2025-22, administrative support / data entry to contract specialist. I so move.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Benke. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing reallocation of Human Services Department 1 full-time equivalent position, administrative support / data entry to contract specialist.
And the resolution is approved. That concludes our business. I do just have a couple of announcements. First, supervisors, especially new supervisors, please look at your committee assignments. The clerk also gave you a sheet that gave you the meeting dates, times, and locations of all of those committees. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Those committee assignments begin effective immediately. Second announcement is that before our May County Board meeting, which is on May 21st, that one will be at the regular time, 6 p.m. However, we have our annual cybersecurity training at 5:30 in advance of that meeting. So that is required for everybody to attend, so please make arrangements to be here at 5:30 next month on May 21st. All right. And with that, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion.